Hello friends and welcome to what could be the beginning of the end for our Ultimate General Civil War Confederates playthrough. With the losses we suffered at the previous battle, I think I'm going to completely bypass Hardin Pike. I think it's just another battle that the losses and the financial cost are going to be pretty grim. And you can see from up here, we're really scraping the barrel just now. We're going to go into Washington. The enemy does have a minus 10% to their army size, as well as minus 10% to their morale. I have sadly had to spend a lot of our reputation here so that I could summon a 4th Corps and strengthen the 3rd Corps to a point I feel that they can fight. The 1st Corps currently, you can see this is how they stand. We're in a pretty healthy position, I would say, overall there. The 2nd Corps, much the same. There's little bits and bobs that I'd like to sort of pick up, but we deal with what we have. The 3rd Corps are in some shape. Not great, but they're in some shape. And the 4th Corps exist. The supply here I'm going to boost basically as much as we can. 2,507. And you can see here from the armory, we are literally using every single weapon we have. So we're at maximum capacity. So without further ado, we go into Washington. My god, we can barely commit to this. So if we put a 1st Corps there, our 2nd Corps can go on the secondary attack. 3rd Corps can flank left. And I guess these guys could go on the flank right, just so there's something here attacking. I guess this is how we're going to lie, friends. Please wish me luck. I almost definitely feel that we're going to need it. General, this is our big moment. Today we can capture Washington and win the war. This is a long pan here. Through these woods, we will launch our first attack while several of our divisions will commence a wide flanking manoeuvre targeting the west side of the city. Another long pan. Our main attack will be executed from north, and it is advised to use our best men for this task. It's a bit late telling us that now. The northern attack will be supported by a few more divisions. The rest will head south to flank Washington from the east. Fort de Ruzy is a formidable fortification that guards the northwest side of Washington. It is the first fort that we will confront today. Fort Stevens is the strongest fortification in the region. We have to be very careful on how to approach and seize this powerful military construction. It looks hella high here. Fort Slocum guards the northeast entrance to Washington, so we have to secure it as well. 3 of them we need to secure. The Federals have built additional fortifications around Washington during the latest months. Fort Washington is a new fort that dominates the northern suburbs, and unfortunately our west flanking force is going to meet it. Fort Thomas is another newly built fortification that our eastern flanking force must secure before proceeding to Washington. Only after conquering these 5 forts and the interconnected trench works we will be able to advance this city and take it. General, it is going to be our hardest fight, our most important battle. Let's win the war. A lot of optimism there at the end. We begin the attack from the northwest. Hopefully the enemy will be busy fighting us and will not notice the flanking force that has started to move south. The Federals were not expecting us and Fort de Ruzy is lightly guarded. We could rush our troops to storm it before it is reinforced. Enemy reinforcements are expected to arrive from this direction. Act with caution, General. Okay, we finally hit the ground running. As always, I will deploy the troops that I want and we will get underway like this. So this is how we land. We're going for maximum speed. We're going to basically move our cavalry up, and I think what we'll try and do is we'll maybe get our cavalry and co in situation here, as well as some infantry, and we'll try and snipe anything coming in to reinforce, whilst the main body of our army basically goes straight at the fort. Let's get underway. So we're going to have our sharpshooters move up. They're all going to go to the edge of the forest, and we're going to have them act as like our eyes or line of sight upon the fort and what could possibly be coming at us. And then we're going to have our infantry. We're going to be walking, by the way. We're going to be walking towards the fort. And we want to be as close as we can and let our infantry do their work. Our cannons we're going to probably set up here and have them sort of bombarding from range. Baylor's going to accompany, I think, the main assault. And we should probably put some infantry front and centre here just in case. With the rest of our infantry here. They're going to be sent sort of out the flank way just to get stuck in there. And as I said, we're going to send some of our skirmishers this way to get an eyes on. Let us get underway. I'll speed up until we have contact. So they somehow have line of sight on us on the approach. And they appear to have a good few thousand men in here. I'm wondering if just a melee charge is going to be the best way to sort of do this here. So what we probably want to do is just have as many men here as we can. We're going to get line of sight with these troops. And we'll move our cavalry up as we sort of initially stated. I think they're just sort of blindly shooting at us here. Our skirmishers are taking pot shots of dreams. I'm fine with that. And our cavalry, we're going to get one of them there, and then the other one's going there in the houses. We basically want them acting as a scouting force here. So, dismount, get in the buildings, and the same here. This way we'll at least have line of sight if reinforcements do start to arrive. Now, it did tell us to rush, so what I'm going to do is now that our troops are a little closer by, we're going to start moving. I'm going to move these chaps up, and we're going to start countering them. McHenry can come up here. You three can come up here. We'll get them running. And our cannons, I'm going to move just straight up here, and we'll try and get some almost point blank shot here. The rest of our troops are arriving. I believe a lot of them are cannons. We'll just get them up as close as we can. So we want you lads, ideally, pew-pewing. Now they can see us, but we sadly cannot see them yet. And we appear to be getting shot from, I think, behind. So we're going to move up and shoot at them. You three are going to come as close as you can, and then we're going to essentially just YOLO charge at the fort. You two can come around here, and the same with the Southern Twisters. Ammo can move up here. Right, so they have some big cannons there, the 1st Ohio, and they have some infantry there that we are doing nothing to. We're taking losses. We've killed, I think, 1 man. Nope, we've killed 4 men for quite literally about 100 casualties. So we're moving up here as close as we can. The blind skirmishers are already routing. This is going to be a very rough engagement, I can already tell. There's some men in there. What we'll do is we'll move you lads round. We'll try and engage them from the flank, and then maybe we can push this place from multiple sides. McHenry and co, I think it's time to get running. Same with all you chaps. We're basically just going to try and overwhelm this fort and go straight at it. That's honestly just the plan here. There's nothing fancy going on. It's just going to be a case of numbers. Oh, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. They're firing their volleys, and I think we're going to go get stuck in. Georgia Harvesters, will move them up. McHenry's taking the brunt of this for us. So, McHenry, in you go. We're just going to have to put bodies on the line here, I think. And I think what we'll also do is we'll just get our cannons moving up as basically as close as we can. Here we're going to charge in the Georgia Harvesters, and you two are going to come here. Right, we are routing there, but we're pretty much in the fort. You guys can charge there. Baylor, we're going to move as close as we can to get that boost. You guys charge there. Baylor's coming up. They're in all of the points here. This is the first battle I'm literally sitting here thinking, can we do this? And I'm really, really not sure. Baylor's here now. We're going to get him encouraging. Like so. The Georgia Harvesters have pushed them back. You lads are going to come around here, and we're going to try and push the fort from all sides, essentially. I doubt they'll be back anytime soon. So we can pull the Georgia Harvesters over here. We can have them walk. And what we'll do is we'll get our cavalry here to cover. The Lucky Brigade and co, we'll get them sprinting up towards the fort. We need to put pressure on as soon as we can. Cannons are starting to arrive, that's good. I'm hoping that we can also, in good time, turn this fort against them. We're already getting injuries to our command structure. Here we're going to start walking so that we can charge once we get here. Let's get you lads into the building here, and we'll move you up just to act as a bit of a harassment force. We'll get you lads up here, and we'll get McHenry back up as well as Cook. This does not look good. Reinforcements to fort. Okay, there's 1 division coming here. That's not good for us. We're going to hit and run them, I think. So now that we've fired, we'll pull back, and then we'll hit them from the flank. We'll pull back again, and then here we really do need to melee and get stuck in here. Might need to put 1 unit here just to cover this. So we've lost a couple of thousand men. We're basically now just reforming to basically have another go. We've literally killed a couple of 100 men. That is it. You lads need to get back down here and engage with them. You're going to form up here. You don't need to run. We'll get some standing back. We've at least pushed one of their cannons back. That's something. And then here we're starting to sort of begin firing again. Our cannons are almost in position, so they should hopefully be able to help. There's a good few of them. This is going to be somewhat frustrating and overwhelming down here, I imagine. So they're getting stuck in here. All of our skirmishers are here that I was hoping would be sort of arranging them by now, but that doesn't seem to be the case. We need everyone moving up towards the fort, and we basically need to just go in again. We need to just go in again and cause problems. Right, we finally managed to knock one of them back. I'm going to get them on the defensive point here and see if that helps at all. And you lads here basically need to hold them up. We basically need to hold them up here until we get in the fort. You lads get as close as you can. Same way McHenry. McHenry's getting there. I think we honestly just need bodies in the fort. I think that's the most important thing here. Even if we can get some of our cannons in and turn the fort against them, I think that's what we need to be doing. So the Lucky Brigade are in the fort here. We're starting to get in. Let's just get bodies in. We need to get bodies in. McHenry and Corps there. We're going to move them to the other side. We have secured Fort de Russie. Our boys here are doing some work. We're going to get the rest of the skirmishers up. And what I think I'll do is this. We'll pull back and we'll try and get one cohesive line here. There we go. That way they're in the middle of all this. Our infantry we're going to move up, have them assist. And Baylor, we're going to need you to stay here, friend. We need all our infantry in here that we can get. And our skirmishers up to the flank. Ammo, we don't really need that up here because we're getting free ammo. Let's get the cannons moved up. We need to be holding this at all costs. So they're going to come around here. They can run there. Once they're there, we'll hold. Our skirmishers we want coming around here and hopefully keeping these guys busy. Because this is a full division here, remember. This is a full division. We have definitely taken a really large amount of casualties that we did not want to take. But I guess this was going to have to happen. We'll get some cannons up here to help out. We've got Sullivan here, Taylor there. And then what we need to do is do our best to hold. It's kind of good here because they're going to come at us and we can just constantly counter. Which is hopefully going to pay off in the long term. So what I'm going to do is try and form up here in a bit of a harassment sort of shape, I guess. And we'll let them sort of come at us. So we want to be overwhelming them as much as we can. They're pushing us pretty hard here. The good thing is we can get our infantry around here now, we can get the big game hunters around here, and then we can try and hold this flank as best we can. Need to do something about these cannons, so that's for sure. The advantage we have though is that we have turned their own fort against them, so long term we should be in a good position here. I'm going to pull back and just reform the line as we said. I'm going to pull all the way back though, and we're going to try and use the fort. Got a strong bastion that they've basically surrendered to us. So I think we can check off like the first sort of difficult part has been done. I mean, we've definitely taken an absolute load of casualties, but one of the most difficult parts of this battle has been done, and that's getting a foothold. And they're just coming back at us. The big game hunters, I'm going to move out to this building. And then here we're just going to try and curve around, keep them occupied, take out as many cannons here as we can. Steve-O's outlaws will get on the defensive point. You guys can fire at them. You guys can fire at them. Big game hunters get round here. General Smith and the 2nd Division approach the fort. Okay, there is more of them coming. I think we should be able to hold this pretty well here, to be honest. You lads can get firing at them. You can get around here and try and fire at them. Cannons starting to do some work here. And these cannons are slowly making their way up. Very slowly. Painfully slowly, actually. Right, you guys, we need you falling back. We need the fort taking as much of the damage as we can. And we need you walking, staying fresh. Maybe get a volley off at them and then we'll retreat. That being said, unless they charge us, we're actually in a really nice position here. There we go, big game hunters getting their volley off. Managed to take down a few of them. We'll pull back a little bit. We want to stay in cover. I suppose these guys are also giving a line of sight for us though, aren't they? We can't really underappreciate that. Blind skirmishers here have got the long range. So do the Widowmakers, so let's be picking them off where we can. So they're going to counter-attack us here, but it's most definitely too late. It is most definitely too late for them. And our infantry here are going to overwhelm them when they do eventually come for us. Like so. Widowmakers can pull back. And then hopefully the cannons can do some work here. Our infantry we want moving up. And same here. Big game hunters, we're going to pull you back now. You've got some sniper shots off at them. I think it's important here that we draw them into the fire of our big divisions here. Like this. The big game hunters could probably deploy about here and counterfire. Attack at Fort Stevens. So I think we can agree that this has been successful so far. We've got a nice foothold here. Casualties are very high, but we have the claws in. So this attack is the main body of our army. We are now advancing from the north. Our main target is Fort Stevens, the biggest and strongest fort in the region. One of our soldiers has spotted Lincoln observing us with binoculars. One of our soldiers has spotted Lincoln observing us with his binoculars from Fort Stephen's barricades. He ain't staying there for long, no doubt, after watching our veterans coming down to him. The Bluecoats are responding to our attack and have dispatched infantry from Washington's defences. Bad news for us. Good news for our soldiers that are executing the flanking manoeuvre. They will fight fewer Yankees. We've also spotted enemy movements in those farms ahead of us. It seems that they have attempted to delay us behind those fences. We must deal with them fast and move south. We will do that. I'm going to pause it straight away. And what I'm going to do is organise. So, I think what we're going to do here is the mass detachment of skirmishers, which has worked well for us before. Also, doing this seems to put them in like a marching array, so I don't know if that... Is there a buff for that, or am I just imagining it? Probably imagining it. But we're going to take all of our skirmishers here. And now that we've got them, we're going to move them up and use them as essentially a flanking force to try and get an eyes on for us. Wills Legion and Dolski's Mad Lads can move up the centre. They've got the long range. And our cannons, I think what we'll do with them is we'll try and move them as close to the road as we can. We'll have you lads move nice and wide. And we'll try and sort of follow the skirmish path here if we can. We want the skirmishers rushing. We want the rest of the chaps just taking their time and getting on with the sort of job at hand. You two, we're going to come round from the flank a bit more. And I think that's just about everyone moving bar theRandolfski himself. Here we'll keep up the assault. And I assume this battle's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as this goes on then, right? This should honestly hold here. I don't think we're going to need to do too much. I think it's just a case of trusting in our men. And I think we've got more reinforcements coming here, including more cavalry. I think we'll get the cavalry around here to fill in the sort of gap in between and give us eyes on. It says they're using the fences, so I guess they're in here. And all the sort of bulge works here. And we have... Our brigades have... Okay. Hurry, defend the fort. I assume this is enemy brigades they're talking about here, because we are holding the fort really well here. If ever deployed behind the fences to delay us, we knew that. It's been harping on about it. So we're going to move up here and basically start engaging them with our skirmishers, whilst the main body of our army start to arrive. And here it's just a case of digging in and holding. I think they're just going to throw themselves at us, which for obvious reasons is completely okay with us. We're going to start moving Taylor and Sullivan up here. Elements of Hooker's XX Corps sighted. They are defending. Okay, we knew that was going to happen as well. And then here we just want to be sort of holding, let them come to us. Start skirmishing them, don't let them get organised. So we'll get the main bodies of the army up here. And you three are going to come round the sort of flank here with cannons in tow. And cavalry moving up the flank. Okay, looking good here, I think. Here we want to move around the flank. We want everyone marching as slowly as we can so that they're fresh, should we have to get a good charge on. Smokey's bandits can re-attack. I don't know what the Blackpool Brigade have done there. Why are you doing that, boys? Why are you doing that? Like, I definitely didn't order them to do that. They need to fall back before they get killed. And then here I think we need to get stuck in before they get really badly... Before they get really well entrenched. We'll start trying to reattach most of the skirmishers here because we've kind of done what we needed to do there. And then here we're just going to continue pressing up. Cavalry we're going to move up. We're going to mount up you boys. You can get up here. I wonder if we should be countering this. I don't want to move too many men up, but we'll be proactive and we'll stay on our toes, I think. Want to move up and try and get rid of these cannons here. And then here our attack from the flank is going to come in and hopefully come down on them pretty decisively. Price can move up and get an eyes on, and the cannons can get in just behind. I reckon we might try and flank them. Our overwhelming fire is definitely taking its toll, as you can probably see. I don't think they're going to last too long against it. My worry here with these chaps is they're going to be overwhelmed from the flanks, and the Scotch Guard could reattach themselves, as could the 2nd Dixie. Those Legion can move up, you chaps, so we're going to run you. We're trying to get around the flank a bit here. I want to try and cut off as many of them from getting back towards this sort of fort as we can, and I might run our cavalry around here and see if we can get them in as a sort of flanking cut off. Get a nice encirclement. Here we're getting nice volleys, and let's get Smokey's bandits going in. You lads can hopefully form up here and keep doing what you're doing. Here the chaps are about to get ready. We'll start running them, we'll get round the flank, and Price, you're going to come round here. Cannons, let's get you set up pretty close. Get you firing from afar. I think this is looking good. You lads are going to come round here. We're going to just cut off all of them if we can. Let's go. Wolf's Legion can come round here. And our cavalry is sort of a taken one for the team here. They're going to move up. We're just going to try and keep them on the back foot. Price is going to come round here. And we're going to engage them from the flank. Cannons can get firing. We're going to move them actually closer. I'm going to be very, very forward with our cannons here. They're kind of holding here, which is frustrating. Praelar can move up. Our cavalry here, we need them continuing. It'd be nice to get the Blackpool Brigade boys back. Get them back in the fight. Price has sadly been knocked back here. I think what we'll do is we'll get the third Dixie and we'll maybe charge this, see if we can dislodge them. That'd be a nice move. And then here our cavalry is honestly just going to continue chasing them. They're all basically running here. We can probably swing around a bit here. Wolf's Legion can come this way. Hopefully get stuck in there. Prior can come there. Southern Twisters can come up there. You can come up here and we'll start getting stuck in. Yeah, they don't have much here. They really don't have much here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's just absolutely overwhelm them in every single way. Let's get stuck in there. We'll just charge them and overwhelm them. They're routing. We are getting fired at from the fort, but we're basically going to cut off all of their reinforcements here, which I think we'll all agree is an absolutely massive, massive move. Cannons, we're going to get you moving up all over the field. If they are still standing after this, I don't know what to do. How they'll not have been captured. Blackpool Brigade can move back and move to sort of rejoin. Curtis here we want to completely overwhelm. You lads, let's get you all here and we'll start firing at them. You can move up. This is nice. We've got a nice sweep and charge here and there's literally like nothing the enemy can do. We're just getting absolutely wired in. We'll move you up and then I'm going to pause because every second's going to count here. We're going to micro our cannons forward. I reckon we'll get them like here. We'll start firing at the fort once they're up. And then all of these skirmishers can make their way to rejoin their corresponding regiments. theRandolfski's going to move up and start commanding the front. Should probably check here what's going on. We have a lovely defensive line here. They are starting to essentially crumble here. So I think what we'll do here is we'll grab some of our cannons, move them up just behind, and I think we'll move some of the men out of the fort to basically allow an assist in trying to encircle here as well. Big game hunters can move up, and I think this is mostly micro in itself, and as you can see we've more or less destroyed most of their big brigades here. I dare say we just have to be careful with cannons. Cannons can always cause a bit of damage despite their numbers. We're going to try and charge here and just cut off literally as many of the men here as we can. If we put an end to them here, they can't fight us later on in this battle, basically. Our cannons, we're going to move up to here. And our cavalry, I think we could probably... we'll have you charge there. You can charge there. You can charge there. You can charge there. We're basically just trying to overwhelm and engage as many of them as we can. Heavy artillery is reinforcing the enemy. That's from the fort. So we're going to have to get hands-on with them. So they've got some big guns in there, and here we're just absolutely steamrolling them. We're steamrolling them for days. And there, second Dixie come up. We want to keep firing at them. We literally want to kill as many of them here as we can. Over here it looks like the lines are sort of reshuffling. We're going to be resetting them, as you can probably tell. And I kind of want to keep some units here. I don't want to be too aggressive. So I think what I'll do is we'll move Stevos up, and I'll leave McHenry in here as well, and we'll move our cannons up. Cook as well, we're going to move up. Can't leave 2,000 men that far behind the line. And I might leave some, maybe skirmishers would be better here. That's what I'm starting to think. So big game hunters move up there. Here we'll move up the infantry line. Blind skirmishers, I think they can also be left behind. They've taken a lot of casualties. And I think there's now regiments getting destroyed here. As in, bye-bye. Big game hunters will pull round, start firing at them. We are attacking the works here. I guess we've got an hour and 52 minutes to take this, so we should probably be starting to exercise quite a bit of aggression. I'm going to pause again. Going to grab all of our infantry and we're going to try and get an attacking line set here. I think again this is just going to have to be a case of overwhelm them as much as we can. Cannons we want moving in very close probably to do a bit of skirmishing. And we need all of our skirmishers basically reattaching. Right, let's go. Colonel Larry King has been ouchied. You guys are a little bit far forward. Let's pull you back. We'll pull Price up to do some skirmishing and hopefully help out. The Blackpool Brigade skirmishers, they can reattach now for sure. And then here our line's looking good actually. We're really pushing them here. Southern Twisters are getting... Oh, they're not having the best of days. Let's just say that. We're going to get our cannons moved up here preemptively. You guys can form here. And they're getting pushed back. Let's go start skirmishing the second line. Here we're going to keep moving up, take as much field position as we can. A little bit nervy about engaging them here. Another defensive works. So Georgia Harvesters can come there. Stevo's Outlaws there. We need to take care of these guns. Southern Twisters are not in the best of ways. Lucky Brigade and Cook can come out and reinforce that flank, and the Widowmakers can move up there. I think we might be able to attack this fort from two sides, which will hopefully be beneficial. Our cannons are getting here. I think we need to put some infantry here just to stop them coming towards us. Straw Hats can come here, and our cavalry I'm going to reform into a nice blob, and we'll get them involved shortly. So yeah, so we want to basically converge on this from two sides. I think it's going to be the sort of battle plan. Let's move up and shoot at them. Move up. What are they doing? They have lines of infantry in here, so I think what I'm going to do is, rather than waste men, I'm happy to leave them there and we'll just attack this section. You lads can form up here. We are dropping commanders left, right and centre here. So here we're going to move McHenry up, and I think we're going to leave all these skirmishers here. And we're going to need our infantry to push here, basically. So then we're going to engage in a bit of a long range battle, and then here we're just going to have to essentially converge on them. Widowmakers can move up. You chaps can get up, and we're going to start closing the gap now. Let's get some skirmishers on the go here. We can get them up and engaging. We can wheel these guys around and get them prepared. Right, chaps. Skirmishers, move up. Start peppering them. Same here. Start peppering them, and then we're going to move on the fort. Here our infantry is starting to get in here and start basically moving them off the point. We've got our cannons moved up again, and then our cavalry contingent, I'm going to get round the flank a bit here. theRandolfski needs to move up to the fort. We've got Richmond boys here and Dolski's Mad Lads. Just get everyone as far forward as we can. What are the Widowmakers doing? Why are they the way they are? Why? Right, boys are getting stuck in here. Here we're going to move up towards the fort, and I think we're just going to have to basically accept that we're going to take, well, thousands of casualties trying to get in here. So we're going to need condition to charge, so we're going to walk up. We're going to walk up towards them and then get stuck in. theRandolfski's coming in to hopefully offer a bit of support. My big worry is the cannons on the back here can obviously be turned round to face us, which we don't want. So here the first dicks here there, we're going to pull them back, get them attached. We're charging, and then they're going to, I guess, charge as well. We just need to sort of throw bodies at them. We're just charging now. That's what needs to be done, sadly. Ghost Legion can come in behind. The Richmond boys are coming in there, taking our time with it as well, may I add. Here, I don't really want to attack there. I think we'll just try and concentrate our attempts on more sort of confined. I think we'll try and just move in the magnifying glass and fire at, you know, more concentrated areas of the enemy's lines. There we go. Here we are on the walls. We are on the walls. Prior skirmishers are coming up. To me, that says it's time to move up now. So here we're going to just, I guess, converge and overwhelm. Move our cannons up all over. Keep the ammo coming. You guys are going to just anchor the flank. Same with the big game hunters here, just anchoring the flank. We are challenging for the fort. What we really need to do is get these cannons routing. Once they route, I think we'll be in a much better way. Smokey's bandits can reattach themselves. Widowmakers can come up, and our cannons can start firing here. It does look like our first attack is going to be repelled, which is obviously a bad time. And then in the same sentence, in the same breath, in the same light, this flank is going exceptionally well. But this is basically the remnants we're fighting here of the sort of fence line, isn't it? That was not a good charge for us. That was really not a good charge. You boys are going in there. You boys are going to go in and fire at them. Cannons, can you fire at them, please? We've somewhat knocked them back here. Somewhat. This fort's going to be a lot harder to take, I think. Can you boys move up? You've absolutely no... Well, you've not got no, but you've got very little condition left. This looks rough as hell, man. Reattach as many of these skirmishers as we can. They've kind of done their bit here. And then what I might try and do is just get these boys up. And our cannons will get in here. And we need to just, as painful as this is, we need to just keep everyone moving back towards the wall and just taking the fire. The Richmond boys are getting on the point. This should really, really help us. And then hopefully the cannons, they can start firing as well. We're getting close to taking the fort, so that's something. Let's get the boys charging up here. We're going to have to... We have the Southern Twisters here. I'm not too keen to use them in too forward a row. And we're going to move up the boys here because we have to. We need to basically dislodge them here. Baylor can move up and get involved in the front line. I mean, we're taking losses here, we're getting knocked back here and there, but we're on the fort now here. I'm going to risk the 12th Rebel Yell and try and get them around the fort. And then we'll move the Scotch Guards and co-op. We'll just keep pressurising here. 2nd Dixie can move up and pressurise. Get as much fire in here as we can. We're taking losses, but we're managing to gain bits of territory, so it's not all bad. We'll get you guys moved up here, and then we're going to need you chaps firing at the defensive lines. Unfortunately, the Richmond boys have been knocked back. We're going to try and rush some more men up here and take the position. And then here we're going to keep our infantry moving up, keep them on their toes. We're going to try and get the boys up on the wall here. We're going to take losses doing this, but we have to. We have to take the positioning. Such a horrible way of fighting in this game. We're just dropping commanders left, right and centre. We're trying to get on the points so that basically the enemy can't. We've almost sacrificed one of our cannons here to basically get hands on. Here we're firing for days. We're going to keep the cannons as close to the front line as we can and keep them fed with ammo. I can only hope that the casualties they are also suffering here are just too much. Here we're going to charge. We're going to get you boys back up to the front. Need to keep them moving here. Keep these lads going forward. Keep moving up, boys, as hard as this is. Get in the defensive point here. Taylor can stay there. Baylor can move up behind. We'll get our cannons on. I mean, this is the good thing, right? We can turn their defensive points against them, basically. So we need to take this 42 minutes to do so. Let's get the boys into the fort. Once we're in, I'm hoping that we can really knock them back here. I'm still using the Southern Twisters. I don't want to be, but I suppose at the same time, in the same breath, at this point in the game, if we do lose some divisions, it's not the end of the world, is it? And then here, we're getting some point-blank cannons in here, I hope. I hope. We just need them to reload and get the rounds out as quick as we can. Scotch Guards, we're going to move up. 2nd Dixie, we're going to try and get in the fort. Pryor and Corps are going to move up. There's just an insane amount of shots going off here, isn't there? There really is. Dolski's mad lads are shooting from afar. I think the time to charge is coming here. It's definitely approaching. We've got our cavalry here. Can always use them as a quick movement force. And I think here we just need to get bodies on the actual point. They're starting to rout, so we're just going to try and get as close as we can. Southern Twisters keep shooting. We'll keep moving here. Widowmakers can move up behind. We're in the fort. Well and truly in the fort. We're going to try and get Pryor on the defensive line here. Do we have another cannons that I don't mind losing? Not really. Look at the winds. Winded, winded, winded constantly. We are knocking them back though. All it took was the 12th Rebel Yell taking one for the team. Who'd have thought? Winded, winded, winded. We've captured Fort Stephen, so that's something, I guess. We'll just try and get bodies in now on the points. So Blackpool Brigade can move up. Widowmakers can move up. Wolf's Legion moved up. Our cannons, will try and move them up and get them firing from hopefully within the fort. Here, oh god, the Straw Hats are taking the brunt of this, aren't they? Let's get our cannons pulled back a bit here. You two are firing at them, double teaming, that's what we want. Dolski's mad lads firing here. Richmond boys, let's get you up here on the walls. Cook up on the walls. And then I guess we'll just get our infantry as well in here, as well as the Widowmakers. Now let's turn their fort against them once again. See if we can use it against them. Maybe they'll counter-attack us. And here I basically completely ignored. You can see it's had pretty much no detrimental effect at all. And the 7th Rebel Yell have been outshied here, but I mean that's going to happen. Georgia Harvesters have taken thousands of losses, but we've managed to take both of the forts. I'm just not sure if the casualties so far have been so high that we can't sort of recover from this. The Straw Hats, we've managed to disengage them. We'll get them back forward. And then here, I think what we really need is Kyle Randolfski dead. I think Kyle Randolfski's dead. Or wounded, sorry. He definitely appears to have been wounded. That's not good for us. Right here we need to keep putting bodies on the sort of front. We're going to get cannons in and around the fort. Even though there are elite cannons, we need to get them involved. And I think we probably need to get the ammo in here as well. As Kyle Randolfski's been knocked back, I think. That is not good for us. That's really not good for us. They're just constantly falling back and reforming. Like we're in big trouble here. Really big trouble. I'm thinking we can just completely ignore them. And just move up and engage here. We still have our cannons. I'm basically trying to hold them in reserve. And we can use them if it comes to it. And I'm leaving the Straw Hats here just to cover the flank. I think the attack here so far has been successful. And the Southern Twisters are going to have to move up. We'll get some of the filler infantry brigades moved up as well. See what we can do here. Smokey's bandits can get up here. We really need to be turning the fort against them. They've been rear flanked apparently. Georgia harvesters can step in. We basically need to just keep putting bodies in these points and just, you know, shooting at them where we can. 6 minutes to go in this stage. The fort's contested for 16 minutes, but I think we should be okay. Here we're engaging them 2-on-1 pretty much continuously, so they shouldn't last too much longer. The fort's kind of starting to turn to our advantage. I say that we're getting out-cheated here in quite a big way, and I'm not a big fan of just constantly sending men to their deaths here. Our ammo is coming in. We have lost theRandolfski, though. That's a really unfortunate turn so early in this battle. So early. I might get Baylor up here if we can. We'll move him sort of around the flank so that he's not taking unnecessary losses. And then I think we just need to let time play out. Fort Slocum is our new target. And honestly, I'm already exhausted. I know our troops will be. So I'm going to take this as a stamp in the ground. This is part 1 of the Battle of Washington. Are we doing okay? I don't know. Are the losses too high? Probably in places. But we'll see how this develops in part 2. My friends, thank you for tuning in. And until the next one, goodbye for now.